Hey Canelo, if the WBC asks you to either fight Golovkin next or give up the belt, what do you do?
I'm ready.
You ready? So we're gonna see Golovkin in May or what?
He's ready. I'm ready.
There it is. Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So in what would be a very exciting matchup doesn't always translate to a good match or a good significant matchup. Freddie Roach just revealed to ES News that they have been offered a Canelo fight. And Freddie Roach is seriously thinking about trying to make that fight for his fighter, Manny Pacquiao. I mean, you would have to assume when you hear Freddie Roach talk so confident without even getting Manny Pacquiao's thoughts, you would have to think that he has, power over Manny Pacquiao to make decisions like that. So this is what Freddie Roach basically had to say in response to them offering him this Canelo fight. Quote, "I was offered that fight for Manny and I didn't say no. I wanted to watch that fight, the Canelo Khan fight that is, first and see how he did. And Khan, won the first 5 rounds. I know Manny can stay disciplined for 12 rounds. Khan can only stay disciplined for 5. It seems like he walked right into a shot. It was a good setup. So if Manny does decide to fight again and Mayweather doesn't want to come to the table, we could go that way towards the Canelo fight. I have no problems with Manny outboxing big guys like that. I know he's strong. Maybe we'll have to put a cap how much he can gain in between because they like catch weights. He's used to it. Maybe he'll only gain 10 pounds to make it a bit more fair size-wise. Manny has told me in the past that he does love fighting those big guys, slow guys, because his speed is too much for them. It's definitely a possibility. We have to have a cap on how much he can gain. I'm going from the weigh-in at 155. He can only go to 165 max. That's the only way to keep this fight fair." End quote. I'm going to say this is pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting that Freddie Roach is even interested in taking the fight. They can clearly see, just like the whole world can see, that Canelo Álvarez, he hasn't got better since the Floyd Mayweather fight, and he definitely still has problems with slick, and I won't even say slick, fighters with speed and intelligence and ring generalship in the ring. But if you add being slick on top of that, that just makes it even more of a challenge for Canelo Álvarez. I guess it's official, guys, that we can now call Canelo Álvarez the welterweight assassin. It's sad to me that Canelo Álvarez, he wants to fight these welterweights, but he's not even willing to compromise and come down in weight. I mean, he's only 5'8", and he feels he can't come down that low. But if you're willing to fight fighters that fight that low, you should be willing to make the sacrifice and come down to a lower weight. Paulie Malignaggi, he said something, and I kind of alluded to it earlier, but I had already said it, and to hear him corroborate what I have been saying, it just gives me more confirmation. That's exactly what I said when I was watching the Canelo versus Khan fight. I was watching the fight with Boxing Ego. I said Canelo has not gotten any better since the Floyd Mayweather fight. This is the same Canelo that fought Lara, the same fighter that fought Trout and Floyd Mayweather. Canelo Álvarez is always going to have problems with fighters that have ring intelligence. And I'm just going to leave it at that, ring intelligence, because that can be a combination of foot movement, a great jab, great reflexes, head movement, etc., etc. And I'm going to put it this way. If you give Manny Pacquiao a very good chance, matter of fact, if you even favor Manny Pacquiao to beat Canelo Álvarez, knowing that Manny Pacquiao is not even a natural welterweight. Fighters like Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, really they're natural junior welterweights, right? So if you give Manny Pacquiao a chance of beating the middleweight champion of the world, Canelo Álvarez, then that right there proves that Canelo Álvarez is not that skilled of a fighter. Now, don't get me wrong, compared to a C or a D level fighter, Canelo, he is tremendously skilled. But I'm talking about compared to a B or an A level fighter. That's what you guys are saying if you are to suggest that Pacquiao versus a middleweight Canelo Álvarez is a competitive 50-50 fight, or if you even lean towards Manny Pacquiao, which I almost would lean towards Pacquiao in a fight like that. Pacquiao being a southpaw, that in and out style, his left hand, he would give Canelo a lot of problems. And we all know the only way Canelo would win is the way he won in the Khan fight, with just one punch. And I don't want to say lucky punch, but one punch, one shot. Okay? And let me give you another scenario so you guys can really understand the point that I'm making right now. I want you guys to imagine if Floyd Mayweather was naturally 30 pounds bigger than, let's start with Gennady Golovkin, right? For example, let's say Floyd Mayweather, he fights at super middleweight. And let's just say Golovkin, he fights at junior middleweight. So Floyd is already 2 divisions bigger than Golovkin. And the night of the fight, Floyd Mayweather, he weighs 30 pounds more than Gennady Golovkin. Would any of you guys give Golovkin a chance to beat pound for pound the best fighter in the world with that type of advantage? Of course you wouldn't. This is the reason why we never seen Golovkin versus Ward, because Ward has the skill set of a Floyd Mayweather and he has a size advantage on top of that, right? I can ask the same question with Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao. If Floyd Mayweather was naturally at a higher weight class than Manny Pacquiao, and on top of him already being at a higher weight class, he rehydrates 20 pounds plus or more, how many people would be giving Manny Pacquiao a chance to beat pound for pound the best fighter in the world, Floyd Mayweather, with those advantages? Not too many. Not too many. But when you think of Canelo versus Khan, Khan has a good chance, even though Canelo is 30 pounds bigger, 25, 30 pounds bigger than him, right? When you think of Canelo versus Manny Pacquiao has a very good chance, even though Canelo would be 15 to 20 pounds bigger than Manny Pacquiao, right? So what does that say about Canelo Álvarez's skill set? It says that he's a good fighter, but he is not a special fighter. That's what that basically suggests, right? I mean, and I'm even talking to you diehard Canelo fans right now. Isn't that what that suggests, guys? If we're just being honest right now, and we're not basing this off of emotion and pride, that is what that suggests. Because there is no way a fighter like Andre Ward or Floyd Mayweather is going to have a 20 pound to 30 pound weight advantage over a fighter and be at a higher weight class and not be the massive favorite. It's not possible. So, the fact that we're even talking about this fight, Canelo versus Pacquiao, it's a clear-cut indication to me that there's no way we're going to see a Canelo versus Golovkin fight. Because if they were serious about the Golovkin fight, Golden Boy that is, that's all they would be talking about right now. But if they're talking about fighting another welterweight, they couldn't clearly want the Golovkin fight. They couldn't clearly want it. And for all the fans that kept saying, oh, you know, Canelo is just preparing for the Golovkin fight. Once again, we have proof that Canelo is not preparing for a Golovkin fight because he's already looking for another welterweight. Not only is he looking for a welterweight, but he's looking for a southpaw welterweight, or at least he's looking at one. Okay? You know, I think Canelo Álvarez, he makes himself look bad when he yells out, you know, us Mexicans, you know, we ain't scared of nothing and we don't give a fuck, or however he said it. For you to say something like that, the next thing that should have came out your mouth is, Golovkin, you're next. Make the fucking fight. Okay, if you're gonna start cursing, why don't you put it in that context? Oscar De La Hoya, make the fucking fight. I want Golovkin next. I'm about to shut up all the critics. That's what Canelo should have said. After the Cotto fight, what did Canelo say? I'm ready, right? Referring to Gennady Golovkin. After the Khan fight, he say, you know, us Mexicans ain't scared and this and that and this and that. But you're making yourself look bad if you say all of this and you don't fight Golovkin next. Especially if you talk about how you're not scared and you end up fighting two welterweights back to back to back. When at worst case scenario, you could have fought one of the best fighters at 154. Now, emotional Canelo Álvarez fans, I want you to tell me what I'm saying that doesn't make sense right now. Because I know everything that I'm saying is completely logical. Okay? So you can't sit over here and say, oh man, you know, stop hating on Canelo, etc., etc. This is all common sense. Canelo Álvarez is the middleweight champion of the world. He does not want to give up the middleweight belt. His coach and trainers are telling me that they're not going to fight at middleweight for maybe another 3 or 4 fights, but he wants to keep the belt. Canelo fans, tell me if that makes sense. Tell me if that makes sense. Because we know damn well it makes no sense at all. I'm telling you guys right now, Canelo Álvarez is on a boxing treadmill right now. He's running fast as hell, but he ain't going nowhere. He's running in place. He's not doing anything for his career. Fighting Khan does nothing for his career. Fighting Pacquiao, if they were even close to the same size, that would do something for his career. But if this is going to be another 30-pound weight gain the night of the fight, that does nothing for Canelo Álvarez's career. In order to be great, Canelo Álvarez is going to have to do the same things that fighters like Floyd Mayweather, Andre Ward, and Manny Pacquiao have done. And that is move up in weight and deal with adversity. Fight a guy who's just as strong as you are or stronger. Put yourself in a situation where you can no longer rely on your power and you have to adjust. You have to win with other skills. Because we all know fighters like Golovkin and Canelo right now, they're beating everyone with power because they have that advantage over all of their opponents. But we really don't know how good you are until you have to rely on other things outside of your power. What's so ironic is what Oscar De La Hoya said about Gennady Golovkin can easily be said for Canelo Álvarez. Oscar De La Hoya, he said about Golovkin, you know, Golovkin is a good fighter, but he has to beat you with his power. He relies on his power. If you back him up, he won't know what to do. If Golovkin can't beat you with his power, he's going to have major problems. And that's the same thing with Canelo Álvarez. You guys may have heard Amir Khan, he said the same thing Freddie Roach said after the Cotto fight. that Canelo had to be at least 180 pounds. Amir Khan, he said, I was hitting this guy and he was just walking through punches like he was so big he wasn't even feeling them. That's what we have to see Canelo deal with. How does Canelo react when he's in there with a fighter who's walking through his punches and he has to rely on something else other than his power? We'll see. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
This is Bobby, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.